Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Lysandra Yvette, the owner and founder of Loving Touch Healing and Wellness, which operates out of Claremont, California. I want to talk today a little bit more about the awakening, or just awakening in general, and what that looks like, particularly now with all the energies that are out there swirling around, stirring up things, and bringing up new truths and new forms of awarenesses. So in order to do that, I think I'm just going to share on a personal level when I began my awakening process, what that looked like for me. Now, we didn't have a lot of the things that are going on for the collective right now at the time when I began my awakening process. And I want to say it was probably back in 2008 when it started. What that looked like for me, it started with restless nights. Restless nights. Now, do many of you struggle to get a good night's sleep? Whereas, when you were younger or before this spiritual awakening occurred, you could just lay your head down and get a good night's sleep. But you start feeling at this juncture of the road, a stirring, like an uneasiness. Sometimes it's very specific to the time that it kind of wakes you and stirs those emotions. A lot of people have expressed like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning is the time when they notice, they look at the clock and they're just like woke. It feels like a beckoning, like a calling. Something is calling you forth. You can't put your finger on it. You can't go right back to sleep. And you're laying there, you're wondering like, okay, what's going on? I'm really tired. From my personal experience, what I can share is that it got to a point where I realized I just really needed to get up and go into deep meditation and prayer and find out, okay, Spirit, I feel that you're trying to tell me something. And usually this comes at the heels of an intense seeking, an intense openness to find new truths. This is the way they kind of start bringing you into that physical awareness and that spiritual awareness. A lot of things do happen at that time of night as well. It's the hour or time frame, I'm going to say between midnight and 4 or somewhere in between there, where the spirits are very active on both sides of the spectrum. But particularly when you're having this experience of coming into truths and an awakening, it can be quite pivotal. You don't want to reduce the experience or avoid the experience. If I had known what I know now then, I would have saved myself a whole lot of headache and heartache trying to figure out, what else I could do to get rid of the feeling. At the time, I was taking like ZQuil, NyQuil, whatever I could to just go back to sleep because I was still working at the time. But I remember on one particular night, it just woke me up and I said, okay, this is it. I need to really kind of find out what's going on. And I got up out the bed and I went into, my family room alone. The house was very quiet. And I just said, Lord, what is it? What is it? What is it? I hear you and I feel you calling me like, what is it? And I heard a voice that said, it is time. It is time for you to come home. Now, I can't tell you how that freaked me out. It's not that I had never heard the voice of God before, but it's pretty much what he said and how quickly he responded, how loud and audible that voice was that kind of shook me to the core. And actually, I thought the message was like, come home, home. And I was like, oh, no, Lord, not tonight. Oh, no. But what he meant was, now I know looking back, and he has kind of clarified some things for me, home to my truths, home to my own spirituality, home to the real core of who I am. And it took some time to unravel that because there was a whole bunch of healing and shedding of old systems and beliefs that had to take place. It really actually took years to unfold and unravel all the programming that had already occurred in my life. Now, for some, it could be very abrupt, and you've heard the term of a Kundalini awakening. Now that's when you set out to intentionally do your awakening process, and oftentimes yoga practitioners will and gurus will help other individuals come into what they call a Kundalini awakening. I mean, you don't have to have someone to help you do it, but it's kind of where you initiate the process on your own. And what happens initially is you kind of go into this meditative state. You are opening your aura to the experience, i.e. opening your chakras. And it's like a lightning bolt that goes all the way through all of your chakras and up to source, and boom, it's like an awakening. It's like someone plugged you into a socket into the wall. That's literally kind of what it looks like and probably feels like. Now, my experience wasn't like that, but I have, many clients who have shared with me on a personal basis, that's exactly what they felt like. Now, what happens after that is unique unto the individual. Some people say that they felt like they were kind of losing their mind, but really, to be honest with you, that's when you find your mind. The reason why I think they say that and they feel that is because all of the old systems and paradigms that they were holding onto were just like knocked off the table. So it's kind of like rebuilding from scratch. And that feels very unnerving, very scary, very unsettling. It creates a lot of fear and disharmony, so you think. But what it does, it develops your spiritual muscles, because now, really, literally at that point, you have no choice but to go within and to go above, to seek the healing and the answers for your new awakening. This could take months, it could take years. It depends too on how much programming you've had. Or as some people say, how deep you are in the matrix. A lot of people go through different stages, meaning like they may be angry. Angry that, come to find out, you've been lied to all this time. Lied to about many things. You've been programmed. You've been put aside as far as coming into certain truths and being mentored into reality. That can stir up a whole bunch of emotions, and many don't know what to do with it. Oftentimes people will find themselves having to take a break from work and from family and from friends, and it could be very isolating. Some people, they lose their eating habits or appetite altogether. It's not to be alarmed, because we can fast to strengthen our spiritual muscles. So it's probably a very good thing that you kind of very deliberately choose to eat clean during that time. But what I want to share with you is, if you're experiencing an awakening, embrace it. This is a really good time to journal. Journal the process, open up your books, ask your questions of spirit and of source so that you can get clarity. Explain to your friends and family and coworkers or whomever you feel that you interact with on a daily basis that kind of needs to know that something is different, and to give you a little bit of time and space to sort through it, because it is an individual process. But I promise you, when you come out on the other side, you will forever be changed. You will forever be changed. You can't unknow what you know, and that is absolutely true. When you find out that there are truths that have been intentionally held back from you, you will find that some of them were intentional, some of them were unintentional, some of them were traditions, some of them were expectations. They come from many sources. But what is absolutely real is that this is happening like a smooth running engine on a regular basis, and it has been like this for centuries. And many of us have been victims of it, and we've also been perpetrators of it as we pass it down to our children. This is a time and a season right now for the collective, for all of us to wake up. Many are. If you're experiencing it, embrace it. it's a wonderful time to be able to do so. You're not alone. Thank you for returning to my channel. And as always, until the next time, namaste.